This is Broken Neck Radio, metal that makes you want to break shit.
Hey guys, I have with me here, I've got Scimitar, straight here from Victoria, British Columbia, the second band of two that's representing at Armstrong Metal Fest. How you guys doing?
Excellent. Good? Pretty good today.
So we're going to be seeing the Scimitars. We're going to bring those up with you to Armstrong.
Oh yeah, two more.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have two more by then.
So you guys got to officially became Scimitar back in 08?
That's correct. 2008.
And how did that come about?
Well, we actually had a hard time, like most fans, deciding on a name. But I think it was actually Angus who basically suggested it, and it was an instance amongst some other bad ones.
Many bad ones.
But when we decided on Scimitar, it was actually a very quick decision. As soon as it was presented, we knew that's the name we wanted. Recently, it was like
Yeah, it's good for chanting.
Chanting.
just planting the seed there, just
Yeah.
in case anyone's watching.
So when you guys are recording, you guys obviously it's a band, it's a group effort, obviously. You, I guess, do most of the lyric writing. Do each individual, like, do you guys contribute to each other? Like, do you guys help him with the lyrics, and he says, hey, I think with the drum tracks it would be really good to do this? Like, is it more of a collective agreement?
Like sometimes we'll even we have a specific idea for another part, we'll just write it. And see what the other guy thinks. Like everybody always gets the final say on their own instrument, especially on the drums. But yeah, like if we have ideas for each other, we'll always go ahead.
Also, it's kind of nice being able to, I guess, fairly bounce ideas back and forth, because we've been a band for 5 years. Like, there's no ego problems in this band. Like, for instance, my brother and I, like, we've been playing music together for a very long time. I really don't have any problem with someone telling me that that part sucks, and it goes both ways. Like, I don't have any. There's no hard feelings about just honest criticism.
We've gotten a lot better at arguing.
We've gotten a lot better at arguing.
It's
always
constructive.
Well,
what sounds good and what sounds like crap.
And we've also got a burlap sack of foam and peas and plastic swords. So if an argument ever gets to that point, we can
Settle it one way or another.
break out the foam swords before we break out the fists.
Yeah.
So any Scimitar drinking games involved as well?
There is one.
I want to come inside and film that.
And it will be making an appearance at Armstrong.
Excellent.
And it will be available for sale.
We actually invented the greatest drinking game of all time. I know that's a bold statement, but
We feel very strongly about it.
We feel very strongly about it.
It involves naked women, racial slurs, and constant drinking.
Now the last time we saw you guys, we were at the Ambrosia Center. That's the last time we actually sat down and had a chat like we are right now. We had a surprise guest at the time as well.
Yep.
During that time, it was a one-on-one battle mostly between you guys and Atreus Leviathan. Of course, I mean, sadly enough, Atreus Leviathan did win the People's Choice. However, again, sadly enough, one of the bands had to drop off the bill. And then I know you guys respect other musicians as you do, and it was sad to hear that this other band had to go. But it was also a good for you guys as well. What was your initial reaction when first you're let down? Oh, good on you guys, but we wanted that kind of thing, and then all of a sudden you get the phone call that or the email that this band had to leave, and you guys are in.
I actually, I think it was my brother called me and told me I was actually asleep on the couch upstairs, and I got the phone call, and I was still so asleep that I tried to jump up with excitement, and I just fell over on the table.
I just heard him yelling in that room.
I actually, I was the one who initially received the message from Matt Ruckus of Armstrong Metal Fest, and I was too excited I couldn't respond to him in a manner that was actually cohesive. I had to go outside and let Angus have a well-worded response.
I just laughed. I laughed a lot because it was so funny.
But we are, like you said, we are sad that we can't see Odafist up there.
We were actually really excited to see
We were excited to see Odafist.
That's right, because you guys were going to go to Armstrong even though you weren't.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course.
Good. You cheer the rest of your brethren on.
Oh yeah.
Now I know it was a known fact that you were at one point involved in other projects. Those have no longer, not involved in them. Are any of the other guys have any other side projects? Or are you guys all cohesively focus just on the band?
We all
dabble.
Yeah, we all dabble.
Keeps it fresh, right? Like if you're doing the same thing over and over and over every day, like
It can burn you out.
You can burn you out. So it's really important to just like have a little bit of freedom, just to go off and screw around.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
it might be.
Yeah.
Otherwise we'd start looking for those freedoms within Scimitar, and it's not good. We don't want to
Dilute.
we don't want to dilute Scimitar because we're trying to get fulfillment that we could just be seeking elsewhere with the jam or something.
Exactly. Yeah, like
So
for
we all
instance.
dabble, but we have our priorities.
Yeah, for instance, I'm actually also a guitarist in a reggae band in Victoria called Blackwood Kings, and I love that. It's cool, like playing that. It's
Props to Blackwood
hilariously-
Kings.
it's hilariously easy, like compared to what I have to do in Scimitar, and it's really light and like fun and happy. So when I come back to Scimitar and it's just raw metal force, it feels really good.
Now, have you guys been doing your homework on Armstrong? I know I personally have seen the stage setup and whatnot. I know you guys have your specific spots on stage.
Not necessarily. We have preferred spots.
You have preferred
Yeah.
spots,
Yeah.
and you do like to move around,
We're
except for you, of course.
Yeah, I would like to.
Is the fan going to be a constant prop now for you guys on stage? Because
It's
not really
you seem to when you're
it's
singing, you
not a
seem to
prop,
really
man.
like it.
It's not so much of a prop as a necessity.
Necessity?
It's a tool.
When we didn't have fans, me and
We were actually sweatier.
Me and Angus would be just dying at the end of a band practice, just covered in sweat, just not having a good time, basically. So we got industrial fans, and now we look epic with wind blowing in our hair and not as sweaty. We're still sweaty, but not as sweaty.
Yeah, it adds good for when you guys are delivering the music, I've noticed.
Exactly.
When you see Angus up there, "Arr."
When you don't have like a mountain to stand upon, having a fan in your face is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was very well put, yeah.
Recently, you guys have had actually a lot of activity this last year. Last 12 months, you guys had, I mean, a lot more than I've seen. Actually, probably one of you guys have probably been actually one of the busier bands here in Victoria. Most memorable show
Within the last year?
in last year?
Yeah, I'd say the South of
That's the
Heaven.
whole experience. It was pretty amazing to hear academics discussing metal. That was pretty cool.
Meeting Sam Dunn was really cool for me again. We met. In passing at the other show that he came to in 2001, I did basically say hi, but I got to chat with him for over 5 minutes, and that was really cool. Having seen his video for the first time in 2005, I was 15, so 8 years that I've known about him. So I think about that.
It's okay. That was one.
And you guys are currently writing now some new stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw the Cultivate the Spears.
To cultivate with Spears.
To Cultivate with Spears
Our
just got
newest-
released,
That
and we've been
was
spinning
released,
that quite well on the station.
Any reviews?
This is fucking sick. This is epic. Can you please play that epic track from Scimitar called, So we've had a few.
Yeah. All right.
We're
Sounds
more
good.
in the process of recording all the new material that we have as opposed to writing it.
We do
We're
is
still writing, but
yeah.
It's important. It's important to just keep yourself well rounded with everything. Like you, again, with burning yourself out, right? Like you don't want to get to a point where you.
Sound starts the firing gun. Timbers rage exploded through the visceral screams. The tortured beams explode in the face of Uncle of hellfire. The answer making and dismal. Searing as a missile. Run to the back of a lovely drink of bloodlust. Circling down to the sea. Scorching skies with boiling time. Every vision in the heat. With a lightning that's seeming to demise. It's sharp as a wicked burning. And guns and no next skin. The cricket of mercy and the rolling dead. All the love making surrounds. Sneaking through all my great hearts. Sending it to death. Death.
and right now we're aiming for about a song a month that we'll be self-producing and releasing. The next song that we'll be releasing very likely will be Where Ancient Spectres Lie, and that song is dedicated to BC metal. We'll be doing some filming for the music video to go along with that at Armstrong, so if you want to be in our music video, you can come on over and get in a shot with us. We'll be filming for the whole weekend. So you can, if any bands out there want to be in our music video, we'll happy to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. We just want to represent BC metal.
BC, yeah. We're gonna have also lots of shots of cool scenery from around BC, particularly on the island and on the coast. So if you have any ideas of where we should film the video, some cool spot we should go check out, maybe take a couple shots, send it to us.
A spot that you think screams BC to you.
And where can they send it to?
Facebook or at scimitarofficial@gmail.com.
Or at the info tab.
info@scimitar.ca. There are many ways to find us.
There are many ways.
To get you guys prepared for Armstrong, what is your jam schedule like at the moment?
Loose at best.
Just jam tonight.
Tonight,
We're pretty much good to go.
we didn't have the equipment at the jam space for a little bit after South of Pepin, so we finally got everything set up today, and we're starting to jam. And typically we stick to 3 jams a week. Stay tight and stay practiced.
As well as a guitar jam.
And how long is the band jam?
Depends on our set.
It can, usually we'll play the set, and after the set we'll tackle any points that we feel are weak or need to be worked on.
Right, the loop.
Speaking of sets, at each one of your shows, all the sets the same? As a fan, do we expect to be able to anticipate what you're going to play, or do you guys like to keep us on our toes?
To keep some variety.
Yeah, there's some standbys.
There are some fan favorites that we try not to leave out of shows, but some of them are too long to play every show.
You know which one.
Well, we'll start off with what's your favorite one to play?
Oh, that's hard. I'd say probably one of our new songs, like probably Alvarado's Leap or To Cultivate with Spears.
And what about you? What's your favorite to play? From a drummer's point of view.
Okay.
Whatever one makes you see less of the other guys' asses in front of you?
I'm going to have to say Play It on the Bird track. It's a new song that we have, and it is heavy as fuck, and it is the hardest song that I have to deal with. It's true.
And what about you? What's your favorite?
Also, from a guitarist perspective, I'm going to have to agree. To Cultivate with Spears and Alvarado's Leap, they're just super fun songs, but they also have a lot of heaviness to them.
And you get double duty, Angus. You get to not only play, you get to sing them as well.
I think I'm gonna have to back and play it on the bird track. It's definitely, it doesn't feel like many of other songs. It's one of the songs that fan is definitely a necessity. Musically as well as visually. That song gives me an ass crack, sweat waterfall every time.
As a musician, here's my next question for you guys individually. As a musician, where do you draw most of your influences from?
Musically, I'd have to say Steve Harris and Geddy Lee. Pretty blanket, like that's mainly what I practice if I'm not practicing scimitar. Lyrically, history, nature, etc. Mostly history lately. Whatever. Like these guys sometimes have ideas and we roll into lyrics.
What about you as a musician? Where do you draw your influences from? People, places?
I find that hard to answer properly because I find that the musicians that I really love, I don't necessarily actually draw from. Probably my favorite all-around musician and producer is Devin Townsend. He's amazing. I love his work. I wouldn't necessarily say that my work is anything like his at all, but I get inspired by listening to that. Musically, where I'm actually drawing inspiration directly and putting it into my writing. For some of our material, the Estancia Ferrum, absolutely. We kind of have a bit of a folk, Viking, metal influence, so I draw from there. There are countless others, but I also... Yeah, Cromlech, I would say. I like to take bits and pieces of things that I hear, a lot of prog metal, Mastodon, Opeth, and try to emulate it, but not fully. Because then I find when I kind of half-assedly try to imitate somebody, it just sounds like different Scimitar. So that seems to be working out pretty well.
And what about you? Where do you draw yours? Being the drummer.
Musically, I draw my influence from anything with feeling, as opposed to what it sounds like. I generally try to go with how it makes me feel and what emotions it portrays. So my favorite bands would be Bolt Thrower, a band that's just simple, badass, brutal. And apart from brutal death metal, I also listen to a lot of hardcore punk, which is music that I feel it just has lots of emotion, and it's just raw, and it inspires me to write music, even though it's not necessarily that genre.
What about you?
I'd say I have a heavy influence from classical music. My brother and I both spent a number of years studying music theory at the Conservatory of Music, and I've definitely I've had a number of people comment that they think that a lot of my leads sound Baroque, or they sound classical, and I mean, like, that's a whole genre unto itself, like the neoclassical stuff. But I really would say that there's a lot of classical influence in the melodies that come out of me.
Are you guys? You guys have been obviously doing your research on Armstrong. One of the things that they're very big on having is they have actually a local professional wrestling faction that's going to be putting on a show there.
Yeah.
Are we going to be expecting? Are you guys? Who here is the biggest mark?
Biggest mark?
I don't even know what that means, so I'm gonna say Angus.
Yeah, okay.
Biggest fan. Biggest wrestling fan.
You know, that's
None.
No, I don't think so.
if they're actually fighting.
Is there anything like staple guns and like fluorescent tubes and jumping off ladders and hitting each other with chairs and stuff? Then I can get there.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's not going to be any pussy ass shit there. So I'll be a fan, but I can't lie. I haven't checked out any of the rest of it.
Cool. All right. Anything you guys want to say individually or as a group to any of you, like the fans, people that are at Armstrong that are going to be there?
Armstrong, ready your buttholes. Fans, ready your fucking eardrums. We're gonna have a lot of good shit coming today.
And we will have cameras rolling, so be sure to rock the fuck out.
In the week leading up to Armstrong, we'll actually be in Vancouver. We'll be recording. There's another track that we'll be wanting to release in the end of the summer called Albrado's Week. So get ready for that game.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Zang.
Broken Neck Radio.